Hey, how's it going? Look at some signs. They're amazing. they're sliced bread. They're so awesome. Hi. So I pulled some cards, but I wanted to talk about something else before I got started. Sorry for the view of my brain there, but I got a message. Right, so the thing I wanted to talk about was the shift. And by now, it's a pretty common term. Like, I feel like people are going to know what I mean when I say the shift. And I'm just going to relate a story a little, or I don't know if it's a story. I'm just going to tell you something that happened in like 2015 when I first became aware that there was such a thing as the shift, and it coincided with my own Kundalini awakening, and I had read about it, but reading about it is nothing like experiencing it. So it basically felt like I was confronted with something completely foreign to me. And well, my thoughts have changed and developed on that even, but let me talk about the shift. So when I met these people and I became aware of these things, it certainly wasn't well understood through my point of view that I was seeing in the conversation, the group conversation that I was having online with people talking about this. And there was a lot of this thing that we humans love to do of separating groups. Like, I don't know how many times I heard, well, this family is going to go to the next dimension, or you know, the fourth or fifth dimension, whatever it is, as if, like, what about everybody else? And also, where do you think you're going? It's not a physical going anywhere. See, that's the thing about the shift. It's not a physical going anywhere. And by the way, it happens all the time. You could say, when you change your mind, you have shifted. It's almost the identical process. Although the shift that everyone refers to, or people refer to, that I'm referring to, there's a little bit more going on than that. Although even with changing your mind, it might feel like an instantaneous, spontaneous act, but what if it was about like gay marriage, right? And you're like fine with it now. You were fine with it 5 years ago, but maybe 25 years ago, you were not fine with it at all. You were not fine with people being gay. So in my theoretical, I will posit that it took somebody 30 years to change their mind. So face value doesn't tell you what's below the surface of things or what processes came before to make the mind change or the shift in perception. So just that avenue right there, to me, is an indication of just how variated and complex the shift is for any individual. And what got me thinking about it was I was writing something yesterday, not safe for public viewing or whatever. Like, it was just for me. And something that I just happened to spit out was, in regard to the shift, is that no baby born today is ever going to be older than me. And by that, I mean, other than the obvious, there's people are just at different speeds, in different gears, on different levels. It's not a judgment. It's just something that happens, like a baby being born years after I was. Like, they're never going to catch up. They're not going to shift at the same time as me. And that's the thing. That is like my main point with the baby analogy is we're not all going to shift at the same time. So I don't know if the shift is a thing. But there's also indications that there's more to it than we're able to perceive. We just get hints, we get messages that are channeled, we're told things. So it's really, it's hard to discern if something you've never experienced or you don't remember ever experiencing is actually the thing that you think is happening, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me. But as far as the shift goes, it very well could be like what is talked about online a lot, which is 3 or more days of just everybody being basically, if you thought of everybody as marionettes, all of our strings would be cut temporarily, and there would be, I guess, impenetrable darkness, and we're in that time period going through some sort of internal shifting and some universal tinkering or some such thing. Like, I don't know. I'm just going on stuff I learned online, and my sense of, is that just too wackadoodle to even be true? It's like, you don't know what you don't know. So yes, there could be like this other God stuff basically that happens with it, because that even if you are not a person that like will even accept the idea that there is a God, okay, and then there's everybody else with whatever shade of relationship to God or the idea of God that they may have. Again, everybody is so different. Like, how could it all happen at once and be the same thing? That's what I'm saying. Like, there can be a huge shift, and everybody could have their own shift, their own perception of it. And that's kind of like how life already is. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. It just was interesting to me. Good interesting, not the other kind. Okay, so now I will talk about cards. And so I pulled, whatever. The intent was to pull one. I got two from, how about I hold it up the right way up this time? The Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Is it glaring? How's that? That's better. Okay. And I got two, and I was not prepared. Be right back. Okay, so I got my little informations that I need to talk about the cards. But first, right way up so I can read it, I want to show you the card that I pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, which was, I tweaked my shoulder when I was just out. Oh shoot, I pulled more than one. Not that again. Is there one before you? Guess not. I think I pulled 3, so L is one I got. Oh, I guess I'll put it back in the book so I don't lose my place. And I also got whale. And come back. I also got dolphin. And I got mud. Elementally, I got the earth elk, the earth element elk, and the 2 whales, I don't know what kind of whale that is. Well, anyway, we'll just call it a white whale because it's kind of white on the card, but the white whale and a dolphin. And they're both whales, so I'm just going to leave it there so my brain can sort of simmer on those thoughts for a second. and talk about these other cards. So I pulled number 9 from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and it's dancing on one foot. And it, you know, when I first saw this card, and actually I guess it's persistent. Every time I look at it, it's like a green Tinkerbell doing a little ballet, which I'm sure that's what it's supposed to look like. And I don't know if this is an actual being. Like, I don't think it's a plant, actually. Or, well, I'm confused. I was gonna say I don't think it's a plant, actually, but I'm confused. It could be a butterfly. That's what I wasn't saying. But if it is, it's in a weird position. It does make more sense that it's a plant. What doesn't make sense and does make sense, what doesn't make sense for a plant and does make sense for a butterfly are these markings here, because they're like camouflage. They're supposed to fake you out that it's got eyes when there's not eyes there. And if it is a butterfly, you can see like a wing here and then another here, which I guess they can sort of overlap one another when they're not out flapping, I guess. And then also the moth would be very similar to this butterfly, or maybe this is a moth now that I am saying it out loud. But I was going to point out that it has these danglers from the wings, and the moth card, when I have pulled it, that insect actually has its wings extended, so it's the picture looks different. But when in the picture with its wings extended, each wing has something like this dangling from a bottom edge where there's a tip. I don't know, the similarity is there. I can't not remark upon it. So I love the green in this picture. It's very renewing, and I don't, I guess this, I don't know what this is. It looks like the markings of a kitten, but it actually looks like a flower, kind of, and especially if you look at the white parts around the edges. It reminds me of petals, but well, I was gonna say I've never seen a flower like that before, but it does look like it's in like a tropical zone, like it's an orchid, actually. So I have never gone to where orchids grow wild. That's why it's not familiar to me. Who knew? I love the background and the scene with the green. Like, I have always craved to be in the forest where it looks like this, where there's just moss all lining every surface and thick foliage, and the earth is dark and fertile. Like, it just looks like coffee grounds. And I have seen that, but it's not someplace where I can just spend all of my time, because those places are the public ones have restricted hours, and you have to pay money and all of that. And I just want to wander into a place and just feel like I can just sit down and be there and not have to pay any tabs or fees or anything like that. And I guess that's what this card is, like. It would be fulfilling and renewing. And I would imagine I would become so relaxed that, hold on, the nerve of that guy, Robert Plant, all raising his voice, trying to get me in trouble. Anyway, I was trying to make my way reluctantly out of the forest. I want to just look at, hold on. I want to look at the light of this in this picture. It just occurred to me for some reason that I should be looking at that. Well, there seems to be a pretty thick canopy. It doesn't look like it's coming from overhead very much, but you can see right here light through like the trunks of some trees, like you're edging toward a clearing over here. So, well, I guess I literally am reluctantly leaving the forest. Okay, let me read from the book. The booklet. Ooh, that hurts. Dances on one foot. Oh, I didn't read the subtitle on this is Balancing Act. You know, it sort of reminds me of, you know, how they get those pictures of cats in trees and they're just like, their trunk is lying over a branch, their torso, and the arms, well, you know, arms and legs are dangling. And my cat was doing that last night on the arm of my couch. I don't remember if I took a picture or not. Doesn't matter. Reading the guidebook. Dances on one foot. Balancing act. Resourcefulness. Saying yes to life. When dances on one foot shows up, you are called to find a new balance. Just as a dancer moves gracefully and into each pose. There was no and, sorry. I added that by accident. Just as a dancer moves gracefully into each pose, no matter how precariously balanced a step might seem, you must bring equanimity to the situation before you, no matter how thorny or difficult a relationship seems. Thorny! Well, that seems to point to that being a plant. But anyway, if you are putting too much effort into managing your life, work, relationship, family, and digital media, you are missing the point. You have to be dancing while juggling your entire life, knowing that at any one time, half of it is going to be up in the air. It's not that you are doing too much and find it impossible to catch up. Rather, it's that you are confusing readiness with preparation. Whoa, I just heard that yet. Whoa, dude. Seriously, though. I just heard that phrase in something completely else yesterday. That calls for a... Thank you. You will never, ever be fully prepared for all of the challenges in life, but you can be ready to say yes to a new invitation. Sounds good to me. The universe offers you. You can say yes to a new invitation the universe offers you. Live in a state of yes to spirit and no to everything not infused with life, romance, vitality, and the sacred. You will be surprised by how quickly your load lightens when you hold true to this lesson. You are challenged now to work with the resources available to you and not be seduced by the belief, if only I had more ... Life has promised or provided you with everything you need to accomplish your goals and fulfill your mission. Okay, I just got the weirdest flash when I read life provides everything you need. I got a vision of someone just walking through the world that we have right now, just buck-ass naked, and nobody really noticing, because that person is like, I don't need Starbucks and you know, auto supply store, like whatever's on every corner everywhere. Don't need it. Like, seriously, don't need it. Got the air, got the land, got like plants and crap to eat or make clothes out of. Gotta go somewhere, got legs and feet, gotta carry something, got arms. You got more than that than you can carry? Too bad. Leave what you can't carry. You know, eat what you need. Don't take the whole whatever. And that's a metaphor. And oh, boing, boing, boing. Okay. This other thing I saw yesterday, it was talking about slow living, and that is the concept of going with the flow and not like getting caught up in the rat race rapids, basically, which this also is saying. So that's a theme that is recurring. I'm trying to remind myself what I said to get all started on that. You will be surprised how quickly your load lightens when you hold true to this lesson of being the naked person in society, existing without all of the without all of the fluff, the things that we really. Okay, look, I know, like, we live in the capitalism world. I don't care about that, because the world existed before we had capitalism the way we have it now. And I know it's infuriating to people, but to like business-minded people, but we don't need a Starbucks on every corner, because you know why? We make coffee at home, and we can have coffee out in the world that we brought from home in a container. Oh my God, you can make it exactly to your liking. You can put your name on it and it'll be spelled the way you want it to be spelled, and then when you go get it, it's you, so you're not going to screw up your own name. The joys of no Starbucks. Just a thought. Anyway, where am I? You are challenged now to work with the resources available to you and not be seduced by the belief, if only I had more ... Life is. Did I finish reading it all? No, I did not. Let me skip down to the real part where I need to pick it up. When it feels like you are losing your balance, do not contract, holding your arms close to your chest, for you will fall. Instead, reach out and extend them fully, saying yes to Spirit's readying hand. Boy, that sounds like that sounds like the Fool card in the tarot deck, where the person is just like, they got their little knapsack bundle and they got their happy little pooch, and they're both of them not even paying attention that they're about to walk into space like Wile E. Coyote. As long as they don't look down, they should be okay. As long as they keep their spirits up, they should be okay. Upbeat, positive, they should be okay. They already are that. Like, they already got that going on. And the next card I pulled was Gathering Around. And the subtitle is The Power of Community. I love this. Okay, first of all, it has the mushroom people. Well, okay, look, I love mushrooms. Surprise, I love everything. But, I mean, to eat them, yes, I love them. But the more I learn about them, the more fascinated I become by them. And I think of many shows that I've seen, like sci-fi shows and comic books and movies, where there are like people that are obviously supposed to be mushroom people. And one of the things I learned about mushrooms is they basically have like a hive mind situation. And I call them people because a people doesn't have to be a human people. The mushrooms on this planet and fungi and lichen and things like that are part of a living grid on this planet, and they're also like quantum entities. So they're people on a level of person that we are not used to conceiving of, but they're just here among us. Like, the fungus is so among us. It literally is a building block of life. And I mean, I I love that. I worship that. I respect that. I want to live, and I like life the way, if we don't screw it up, like if there's places where mushrooms can grow, especially if they look like this, the places, or like this, that is a good thing. That is, look at all this green, healing growth. And the mushrooms, not only are they symbiotic with each other and each like variety, they coexist so well, but also their habitat, they just are ingenious at finding ways to interlock and merge with it. And I don't know if they're new situations, but maybe so, but they just create growth situations. And growth has its cycles. Sometimes growth looks just like death, because it is, but it cycles back into life. And these guys are a part of it at every step. And that we can take them and they can change our life. They can change our mind. They can change our heart. They're just magnificent. Take a bow. Let me read, careful now, what the book has to say. Gathering around. Oh, yes. The symbiotic hive mind. That's like a giant community. And like I said, they don't just benefit the mushroom people. They benefit like the rest of the planet and their own symbiotic relationships with stuff. It's a technical term. You might not, it might go over your head. The power of community, being safe and secure, allowing help. There are times when you need positive reinforcement from others. Perhaps your journey has made you tired just before reaching the proverbial finish line, where your friends await to cheer your arrival. Know this: you are not alone, regardless of whether you think you are. People gather around to help with your next step as you bring it forth from the cosmos into the beauty of life. There's never been another you before, and you have a unique relationship with your friends, family, and communities, and all of those who gather to help you in the unseen realms. So, the not being alone and unseen realm people being all around you, that is a way to, I think, if you're not comfortable with the idea that you don't see anybody around, nobody's knocking at your door, ringing your phone, or sending you texts or whatever, that is like a textbook definition of alone. But just like what I was saying earlier here, there, and in the card just said there's unseen dimensions, like below the level of our ability to what is the word I'm looking for? Receive. It's not the word that I want. Something with a C. But you think I can remember that stuff right now? No. But about the making a decision, how the process can go on for far longer, sort of sub rosa to even our attention, before whatever happened in the sub level condensed something and made it like a palatable tablet or capsule to place in my awareness, so that I can go, oh, that, I'm gonna change my mind. Like, I feel like that's how it happens. Like, machinery, stuff, processes, debates, and then idea, oh, boop, oh, that was easy. No, I mean, there's more to it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel like it is. When you make the decision. And probably also the shift, because if anything is going to happen, there's always some person we don't know, place we're not aware that it has a part in it. Like, you say you go into a business and you ask for something done. Whatever gets done back there is not done just by like the person standing at the counter or the person that's standing back there doing the order. They can't do the order until all these other people provide them with all kinds of stuff, like the furniture that they're placing the equipment on to do the order. And you know what I mean? It's like nothing is just, it's not just one thing, it's everything. Not just one thing, it's everything. You can adapt it and apply it. Feel free to use that. Help yourself. No fee. I am asking, whoa, no. I'm asking no fee. I'm going to take a little drink from my giant water glass here. So I was out today and on my trike and it started raining and I wasn't prepared for it to do that. But you know, it's summer, so I figured, oh, it'll be short little summer rain and it'll, you know, taper off. And it did. And then it came back and started seriously raining and I was like, oh, shoot, I gotta go home. But that was an experience too, and it wasn't bad. This is kind of silly, but I had the thought in my mind that this is like one of those romantic movie moments, except I was going home to myself, with myself. There's no romance there unless the kitty comes bounding in. I love him so much. Not really appropriate, but it is a love affair. Okay, not that kind. Ew, gross. Grow up. Okay, so the other cards. I pulled the elk. I'm going to read the book, but and since I already have it, I'm going to say that it informs what I'm going to say here, but look how his neck and head are extended and his snout is, either he's trying to catch the scent of something, like is something coming that we should be cautious of. I mean, it could be that, or it's just checking, you know, making sure that there's not that something coming. Either way, its attention is focused outward very intently, and I just feel like it's like a security measure. And the antlers, I don't know, it's almost like this odd, I'm not going to call it a black sun, it's like a weird, like an eclipse kind of. And our moon is smaller than our sun, and I don't remember, well, you can't really look at an eclipse, so is this what it looks like when the moon is eclipsed, or the sun gets, well, it's not really eclipsing, because I think it means like one has to be bigger than the other, but the bigger one is behind the moon, so I'm not sure if that's how an eclipse works. Well, let's just go with it. It's an eclipse in the sky, but it seems like it's having a direct effect on these antlers, so it's up high, it's ancient, but this animal's instinctively, through its antlers, receiving some kind of information from it. That's what I feel like. And it's like kind of fired up too, like it's not just embery dark, it's like flamey yellow up here. So yeah, he's in like F around and find out mode. That's what I feel like. So let's see what the book has to say about that. If it does. The elk, stable, resilient, headstrong with the fiery antler power on his head. The father, well, I mean, that would kind of explain his literal attitude, his physical attitude, the posture he's taking there, and what I was saying, like, is get off my lawn. Get away from my daughter, or I'll gore ya. I'll gore ya. Let me read this. The elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. That means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make damn good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. Does that mean I'm going to have to endure elk jokes now? Corny elk jokes? Get it? Never do that when you're telling a joke. Don't ask. Don't explain. My God. What kind of amateur are you? Sorry. Let me just move on. That was inappropriate. When in balance, supportive, kind, consistent. When out of balance, pretentious, high and mighty. To bring into balance, eat and drink more consciously. Well, here's a piece of advice that I've been hearing for months now, and it's probably just always a good piece of advice. Hydrate. Seriously, that is what I keep hearing. Drink more water. And I'm saying, okay, fine. I will. It's like we got to continually flush ourselves anymore. And I wonder if it's not because we have so much food that's processed and it's packed with so much trash and garbage to our system. Like too much salt, too much sugar, too many unpronounceable weird chemicals that they're like, yeah, it's for this. I'm like, I don't know if I believe you about anything anymore. Kind of. Because they've lied so many times about what chemicals do in things that they know we're going to ingest, that we're sold specifically for the purpose of ingestion. Don't you tell me you don't know. They got labs, they got scientists, they know stuff 20 and 30 years before, a bunch of dead and maimed people point to their lies, so... Well, I never. Okay, and then I pulled the whale. I'm going to pull the whale and the dolphin together. I wasn't planning to, but that just jumped in my head. Pull them together. Maybe because they're both whales. And I think it's interesting that they're both in like a really good mood. Look at those smiles, and they're both aiming for the surface and a breath of fresh air, so that must feel nice. But they are lots of yellow in the sky and the smile. This guy is moving a little slower. Maybe this is the baby that is never going to catch up to the adult, but they still got a similar vibe going on. They're not separate from one another. And I guess they're here for us to learn from each other, but also one from the other. I don't know how that works. I don't know where that came from. I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying. But anyway, so now I don't know about reading the book. That would be kind of long taking, and this is already long, and I do kind of want to wrap it up. So let me just take a quick look and see if there's something that I need to mention here. Okay, I guess I gotta read the book. Dolphin. Innately intelligent, healer of light blessings. Well, we definitely need that in the world. And isn't it great that these guys are sprinkled everywhere where there's an ocean that people can get to and go in? And sometimes they'll interact with you, which I would imagine, I mean, anytime I interact with a wild animal, I feel amazing. I feel so privileged that it decided to spare me some of its attention. I have a relationship going on with a couple of does and some fawns up the street from my house. And they've been letting me get closer and closer because I leave them vegetables, carrots, and they've been letting me get nearer and nearer to them to put the food down and let me be, I mean, I feel like really close to them while they're eating. They, of course, have their eyes on me the whole time. One time when I was probably 30 feet away from it, I whispered something into my phone, and that deer's head popped up and was looking at me, and I just stayed still and didn't say anything else. And I was waiting for her to finish, but she was taking so long chewing her food. Well, what a good deer. I had to go, though, and she watched me go by, but she kept her head down and kept eating. So I was like, that's progress. And that made me feel good. It was a healing effect. So these guys everywhere, I feel like they're, weird thing, they're like fishy ice cubes everywhere to be festive in the ocean. And the interactions that I've heard about with them are varied and human-like in their oddity. Like, sometimes they just want to swim next to your boat or your surfboard or your, you know, yeah, those two things. And they're like doing flips in the water and like performing for you, and that's also magical and great. Or other times they want to hump your leg, which is how open-minded, how woke of them to be so cross-species sexual. That's never happened to me. I don't think I wanted to. Interesting, but have you not met people like that just love you on sight and can't keep their hands off of you? And it's kind of totally inappropriate, but you're like, chill, slow your roll, crazy. I feel like it's kind of like that. Although I have heard of times where it's gotten violent or too aggressive or something. Also, things humans do, it's called rape and sexual assault. And I wonder if we haven't vibed that into those creatures, because we're like a icky contagion sometimes. Anyway, this fellow, and I'm thinking it's a fellow as opposed to a female for some reason. This guy holds a lot of knowledge and is sort of the example of a deep thinker. And they reserve their opinions for times when they are necessary, which takes wisdom and is something that we should learn from. I mean, I feel like, I take it back, I'm not gonna say we, you do whatever you want. I always want to learn because I feel like it's always an improvement. There's always something that can be improved. It's kind of like our world. There's always got to be contrasts. There's going to be great, good, wonderful things, and there's going to be horrible, foul, terrible, bizarre, awful things. But it's all part of the whole giant one thing. So it's not just one thing, it's everything. Okay, that's pretty tidy. I'm going to stop now. Thank you and good night. Oh, that won't work.